Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Horizon Insider, and today we are here to talk about the best trainer planes for 2020. Now, the first thing I encourage you to do is actually watch our 2019 edition of this video because it has a lot of good information that's still relevant, and it actually features three totally different planes than what I brought here. Reason being is since 2019 we've released these two models that honestly are now the king of the crop for best trainer planes moving forward, ushering in a new decade here at Horizon Hobby. Now there's a couple really key things you want to look for in trainer planes: high wing design, tricycle style landing gear, gyro stabilization, self-leveling technology, all of which are included in these two models. So what I brought in today is the 1.1 meter Hobby Zone Aero Scout and the 1.5 meter E-Flight Apprentice STS. Now both of these are built out of foam construction and feature a lot of technologies and a lot of assists that are going to help you succeed with your flying endeavors. Now these are both available as a bind and fly basic or ready to fly completion level. So what does that mean? Well, if you're just starting out and you don't have anything, you probably want to get a ready to fly completion.
That's enough for you, mate. Right. What was wrong with that? Before I go into this, I'm going to talk from a UK point of view, okay? I'm not talking about America. It may be different in America. They may not have rules, or the rules may be different to where they can fly and what they can fly as it is in the UK. But basically, without going too much into it, if you want to fly radio control airplanes in the UK, you've got to fly in a club. Now, upon searching on YouTube for the best RC trainers, these are the videos that are all coming up, and I'll go into what's available for UK as well. But for me, this is all completely wrong. For anyone sort of looking at getting into the hobby and going onto YouTube to find the best RC trainer, they're being given the wrong information as far as I'm concerned. Everything he's just said is complete bumf. I'm sorry, but it's bumf, right? And I'll tell you why, okay? The Aero Scout. If I get on here now, let's get on the internet and we'll look up Aero Scout. Aero Scout RC plane. Search for that. Okay. So we go UK based, right? So we've got Wheelsby models. Okay. They've got an Aero Scout, 1.1 meter, bind and fly basic. Okay. Right. Right, okay. So the basic is £188.99. If you want an E-Flight 3S 2200 mAh battery and transmitter completion pack, so a combo, right? You can buy that combo for £356.57. It's a lot of money for a little toy, isn't it? Now, can I find any specifications? Here we go. We have some specifications. I'm looking for one in particular. Okay. And there it is. Exactly there, right? Product weight, 612 grams. Now, when you fly in the UK, right, the idea is you go to a model club, you get an instructor, you learn to fly on a buddy system, right? And when it comes to gyros and stuff like that, your instructor replaces the gyro. He's your gyro, okay? Once you've learned to fly with your instructor, most clubs want you to have a BMFA A certificate to then fly solo, right? To pass that BMFA A test, you can't have a gyro on your aeroplane. It has to be turned off. Can't have any sort of electrical flying aids like that, no return homes, none of that kind of stuff. And more specifically to this, the model has to weigh 1,100 grams. So it has to be nearly twice as heavy as this. So you cannot take your BMFA A test on that aeroplane, okay? So that's the first problem with the Aeroscape from a UK point of view. Alright. The next model he's got there.
You're going to get the plane, a battery, a charger, transmitter. You're even going to get double A's for that transmitter.
Is this one?
A bind and fly version.
The Apprentice.
Just the plane itself.
Alright. The Apprentice, I would imagine, is probably heavy enough to take the A test on. But I've actually flown an Apprentice, so I have actually experience with it. There's a guy in the club who I'm teaching at the moment, and he brought an Apprentice. He did his research online and everything, and he found the same sort of information, that these are the best trainers, and he brought an Apprentice. He brought it down to the club, but at the time when he first started, I was in the other club that I was in, and I actually had the club trainer, which was it was an Alpha, what was it? An Alpha 40. So it was a 40 size glow balsa trainer, beautiful, absolute cracking model trainer. And he learnt an actual setup on my stuff, but he brought this Apprentice. Now, I flew that Apprentice with gyros on. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And when I say that, I wasn't flying the plane, and when I wanted to fly the plane, it wouldn't allow me to, right? So that begs the question of how much you can actually learn with a plane that's got gyros on. How much do you learn, or how much is the plane doing it for you? You've got to ask that, that question. We're getting so far ahead with technology and gyros and stuff that we may as well be going back to the days before radio control and everybody flew free flight, because that's kind of what's happening. The plane is doing the flying, the pilot's doing very little. But this Apprentice, it was terrible, and it didn't fly the circuits very. It doesn't get around the sky very well. It's so light and slow. It takes a long time, and when he's learning to fly with me, and he was learning on the balsa trainer. He was learning, but what he would do, or what he does, is he'll go and fly the Apprentice. He's took the gyros out of it now, and he's just put standard spectrum receiver in it. And what he'll do is I'll stand with him, but he'll go and fly his Apprentice around for a couple of batteries. But he doesn't learn anything really. He's just having fun. He actually learns while he's flying the balsa model. Again, it makes no difference what they're made of. This is not balsa versus foam versus IC versus electric. I don't care, right? It's about what's the best trainer. Okay. So a trainer, from my perspective, is a model that you learn to fly. Okay. You don't learn to fly these, right? These fly themselves. Okay. That's my problem with this. The next thing is the price. The price is, let's take this for example, right? Let's go back here. Okay. So we look on here, right? So you've just gone out and spent, let's have a little scenario, right? You want to get into flying model airplanes, right? So what you do is you get on the internet, you find out what you can find out, you get on YouTube, you stumble across this video and you think, right, I'm going to get an Aeroscape. So then you do what I do, okay? So you followed his guide, you followed what he said, right? You find an aeroscope, okay? You go on the internet, you do what I do, you type in aeroscope, UK comes up, wheel spin models, right? You go down, you find the aeroscope, you find the combo. How much to say it was? I think I've lost it. £356 something, was it? Yeah, £356 something, okay? You go out, you think you've learnt to fly, but you haven't. Then, right, you go, your club goes, you need to take the eye test, okay? So, right, you can't take your eye test on an airplane, right? You can't use the gyros, it's not heavy enough. So what you got to do? What have you got to do? Think about it. You got to learn again. You've got to learn on something heavier, without gyros, right? You've got to do it properly this time. You've got no choice, you've got to. If you want to fly model airplanes, you've got to, right? So, you've got to get back on the internet and you've got to find something else. So we'll stay on wheel spin models and I'll type in okay, so going back a few years ago, there was different 40 size trainers, okay, balsa models 40 size. Now they don't, you can still, if you don't want to fly an internal combustion engine, you can still put electric motors in these. It doesn't matter what the power plant is. There was models like the Boomerang, the Tutor 40, the Kalamato, the Alpha, the Horizon Hobby Alpha trainer, all these 40 size balsa trainers, that was superb. I mean, that was brilliant, right? So if you go on here now, you can get, from Wheel Spin Models, a Seagull Boomerang version 3, 1550mm, right? I don't even need to go into specifics. I know it's heavy enough to do the eye test. It's perfect, right? And it looks like these do, okay, so these do a combo, right? So the combo is £569.41, right? Now for that we get a propeller, a JP Power Torque 12 volt starter, right? So that's for starting your engine. You get a 12 volt gel battery to power your electric starter. You get a gallon of Model Techniques Contest 10 fuel. That's good. 4 high-tech servos, standard size. 1 Overlander NIM battery, right? 2,300 milliamp. Now, this is the beauty of IC, right? So that battery will run those servos. Oh, flight after flight after flight. Don't need to, if you wanted to go flying all weekend and learn to fly all weekend, one charge would do it. They really do hold the charge and really do power the servo as well. You get a Futaba 6L Sport transmitter, mode 2. I'm guessing they'd change that if you wanted to. But you'd obviously, if you was learning, you'd need an instructor, so you'd need to get a transmitter that suits them. But I'm sure a model shop like this, if they're doing a combo, they'd probably alter things to suit your needs. You get a 5-minute epoxy. Okay, so that's obviously for any assembly. You get 1 Force 46 glow engine, 7.45cc. And you get a fast charger for both batteries, for the NIM and the gel battery by the looks of it. And you get all that for £569.41. £569.41. You only have to do it once. You only have to pay that once. You go out, you buy that, you get in your club, you get with an instructor, he teaches you to fly. and after you've learnt to fly, you can do your A test on that plane. And I'll tell you what, if you wanted to, you know, go up, do some aerobatics and stuff and progress on after that, the boomerang is quite capable. It does lovely rolling circuits, you know, spins, loops, you know, all that kind of stuff, stall turns. It's, you know, really nice model to fly. So yeah, are those the best RC trainers? I don't think so. The other thing about this is, what's that all about? Why for 2020? Why only for that year? These boomerangs have been, you know, these type of 40 size trainers have been the best for years and years and years. You know, let's have a look at what other people are saying. Just out, you know, just out of interest, anyone can fly 3D. Really?
Welcome back to the channel today, guys.
I'm not even going to watch that because I don't believe that at all. I can't fly 3D. Well, some 3D stuff I can fly, but not all 3D stuff. What is the best beginner RC plane by far? He has an apprentice. It's not the best beginner RC plane at all, not even by far. What else have we got? Best beginner planes, Aero Scouts, Foam, they're all going to be gyros. FMS, that seems to be popping up a lot. Would I say it was a bit? No chance. This might be the best beginner RC plane.
This might be the craziest thing I said in 2023, but yeah, I'm recommending the Jet as your first plane. Now, full disclaimer, Horizon Hobby did send me this for free, but not asking me to promote it. I actually requested this from them.
Just out of interest, I want to see this guy power his plane up, because you said it's a Jet. So let's see him power it up.
I said in 2023, but yeah, I'm recommending the Jet as your first plane. Now, full disclaimer, Horizon Hobby did send me this for free, but not asking me to promote it. I actually requested this from them, because I'm always looking for new options to get you guys involved in the hobby. Now, this comes with the plane, the remote. You do have to supply your own battery and charge it. Not that big of a deal, because you can run a 3S or a 4S pack in this thing. Now, this is amazing. I have flown it a lot. I'm actually surprised. In my opinion, it flies kind of like one of those helium planes. It really does just float. We have a super durable landing gear, which is going to be good because it's really going to hold up to those hard landings. It is 4-channel. We got elevator, rudder, and ailerons, pushing a 70mm fan. And on 3S, 70mm, you would think like that would kind of be funny, but
it's not a Jet, mate. So Jet refers to the power plant of the aircraft, not the style. Okay, it's a fan, mate. You're flying a fan. False information again. Okay, let's go back.
I do get
So look what Dom's saying.
I do get regularly asked on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel my recommendation on what to buy, you know, first as a first radio controlled airplane for someone wanting to try out radio controlled model flying, and I emphasize to try out rather than being more serious and wanting to invest in something to actually learn and get a certification, like in here in the UK, getting a BMFA A certificate to prove that you can fly solo. So let's emphasise try, you know, the hobby. And these types of things are ideal because you don't have to understand the complexities of transmitters, LiPo batteries and aeroplanes and what airplane is the best. You just get everything in the box that you need, probably less the 4 AA's that you need to put inside.
Okay, he's got a good point there. He's absolutely right. Yeah, what he's saying is if you want to just give it a go, give it and try it out. That he's probably good for that. You know, go try it out. You know. The downside to that is though, how successful can you be? You know, the BMFA are losing members in the UK, right? It's known that the hobby is slowly declining, right? You've only got to go to the model shows like Western Park Show, things like that, to see the hobby's declining. So I had a break from model flying from 2014 to 2021, and I think because I had that break, I saw, when I came back, I saw such a big change, right? So before I came back, the last model flying club that I joined was in 2012, and I was quite lucky actually. I mean, we'd gone down to join the club, but there was about a 4-year waiting list roughly. This in 2012, because they had a limit on the amount of members that they could have in the club, and there was that's a good waiting list, 4 years, you know. But luckily, well, say luckily, the farm where the club was on, my dad was good friends with the farmer. We put our names down to on the waiting list. On the evening, got contacted via the club saying, please pay, you know, if you want to join, pay your membership. Basically, the farmer had been and said, look, them 2 chaps have got to join. No two ways about it. Which, I mean, that didn't go down well, but we didn't enforce that. He did, so it's one of them. But that was 2012. And there was a 4-year waiting list. Now clubs are crying out for members now. They're advertising on the BMFA, classifieds for members. The hobby is declining. If somebody wanted to get into the hobby and they went and spent some money on something like that, went out, didn't work for them, right? They're just going to go, don't want none of this, it don't work, don't happen. And I know that feeling because I did it before I actually properly learned to fly. That was something I did. We used to go out, build models, gliders, stuff like that, go and try and fly them, not knowing what to do. But I was so persistent that I kept going, and ended up in a club and learning to fly properly. And there was a big difference. A big difference in trying to do it yourself and then going to a club and being shown how to do it properly. All of it, you've got this thing where you can't fly, you can't get a plane in the air, it doesn't work, it crashes, all the rest of it, and all of a sudden that goes away and you're flying because you're in a club being taught how to do it properly. So I fully agree with what Dom's saying on that one. But what I would say is, what I would suggest to any, you know, if somebody was to say to me, or what I would suggest Dom says on his Facebook page is to anyone wanting to try RCs to get to your local club, and try it that way. You know, maybe all UK clubs should have or most UK clubs should have a club trainer for people to try. But yeah, I kind of get that. What else we got? Top 10 on Amazon? No, don't know about that. Best beginner RC Warbird. Cheapest and easiest way to try radio control. We've already been down that route. Do I crash it? Is this the best beginner RC plane for under £60? It's a lot of money to give something to try, isn't it? 60 quid really, when you can have it free at a club.
It's got a 6-axis gyro built into it, which you can flick on and off. So if you're a beginner, you've never flown a plane before, where normally you'd have to use a simulator to learn how to fly with
You don't need a simulator to learn how to fly. What you need is a good instructor. That's what you need. Is there a problem in the here's a question, right? Anybody who's in a model flying club, what are your club situations like for instructors? Is there an issue in the UK with club instructors? Because the whole aspect of flying model planes properly by going to a club and learning to fly with a club instructor, it's not appearing anywhere. It's not appearing anywhere on YouTube. I know that the club I was previously in, I was the instructor, and they really struggled. Nobody wanted to know. And, the club I'm in now, we have a good selection of instructors. We have good instructors as well. Is it an issue? Let me know. It's interesting.
With this plane with the 6-axis gyro built in there, it gives you the stability and the confidence to fly the plane as a beginner without that fear of crashing it into something, mainly the ground, to be fair. So yeah, let's get it open.
Let's fast forward this to flying it, see what happens. Flight, okay.
Intermediate, advanced, back to beginner. We're going to leave it in that for a minute and see how we get on. So we're still in beginner mode, which means all the gyros are in play and it won't bank over too far and you can't do loop the loop. But the trim thing's alright, so what we might do in a sec is just put it in intermediate mode. That'll give us a bit more angle of attack. We'll be able to do a little bit more with it, be a little bit more fun, but for the money this thing is just dead easy to fly. Perfect beginner plane. There's not a chance you would crash this unless you wanted to. So as it levels out, I'll flick it into beginner, into intermediate.
Right, okay. That's probably going to explain a lot for me. He's flying around his head. He's not flying it. The plane's flying him. He's not got control of it. And I see that it's something that I actually am like, again, going back to 2012, everybody flew properly. And now they don't. People fly around their heads. Give me a sec. Let me come back to you and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, I've just drawn, excuse my drawing, but it gives you an idea, right? So, the basic sort of layout of a model flying club, they vary, but the one I'm in at the minute it's like this, right? The one field. So we've got car park here. So you sort of park your cars there. You walk down, you've got your pits area, right? That's where you work on your models. Now it doesn't matter whether you've got electric, IC or whatever, you work on them there in the pits, right? If it's electric, you should be connecting your batteries in the pits, okay? You shouldn't be doing it in the car park. That's where people gather and talk, right? Models should be worked on in the pits. Simple, okay? Then you've got your strip. If you can see that there, right? So you'd have a strip, your strip there, right? Your runway, okay? Pilot box, right? And do you want a little pilot there I've drawn up? And you pilot, you stand there, okay? Now, your flying area is here, right? It's this rectangle in front of you, okay? So if this is your wind direction, those arrows are your models flying around, right? You should never cross that line, right? Your model should never be behind you, okay? And if I'm teaching somebody to fly, I would say, if you have to do that, look up like that, you've gone too far over. You should always just have that visual of the plane in front of you, right? If that plane's gone behind your head, you ain't got control of it. If you do that on your A test, you fail, okay? It's simple. There's about 2 years ago, I left somebody a comment on a YouTube channel. The well-established modeler, and he's doing his plane, he's flying his plane, and he's flying it around his head, right, around in circles. And I actually left him a comment. I said, you're flying around your head, and he replied back. He said, yeah, he said, when there's nobody there, I like to use more sky. No more sky behind you, mate, than there is in front of you, okay? You know what I mean? You haven't got control of the airplane. It's as simple as that. If you can't keep it where it's got to be, you haven't got control of it. Which goes to show that these type of models do not learn you to fly, they learn you bad habits, okay? Right. let's have a look what else there is. We won't go on for too. Oh, there we go. We won't go on too much longer. What else we got? I like this guy, but he's got a Bixer there, and I'm not going to agree with that. I'm not going to want to put him on and disagree with him for quite like. You can sort of see what you get, can't you, from the searches, you know. Anyone can fly 3D. That
Welcome.
no, not at all. Not one Balsa model, not one video showing a good proper trainer.
As the title says, I think we might break the internet with this video. In fact, I'm kind of hoping to. I'm hoping to be able to do this as a huge favor to you guys.
Break the internet. Go again. Scout. They say it might be different in America if they're flying out their own back gardens or whatever, and you know they're not actually flying in clubs. It may be different, but from a UK point of view, this is not the way to be going. Fan.
A lot of people see RC jets like this.
Here's another guy who thinks his fanny's a jet.
Roll. And they think there's no way I could learn to fly something like that, but I got news for you. We work our way up with planes like this. This is the ultimate trainer plane, and it is on sale for $140. It's a great trainer plane because it's very simple. The price is actually fantastic. It's 4 channels, which means you've got throttle, ailerons, elevator, and rudder. Also, this tricycle landing gear isn't just for babies learning to ride bicycles. It really does help on planes too. Keeping it simple for trainers and beginner pilots is very important and cost effective. This plane will be linked in the bio along with a ready-to-fly version that comes with everything you need to get in the air for under $200. A lot of people see RC jets like this, they can roll. And they think there's...
Okay. Mate, if you've learnt to fly on the trainer you're showing us, right, you ain't learned very well, because that roll you just did with that jet was horrendous. A roll is a simple manoeuvre, okay? What he's done, right, this is a typical case of the plane's flying him, he's not flying the plane, right? It's a typical case of that. So what he's done, he's gone into a roll, right, and he's just banged on the aileron sticks, gone into a roll and tried to recover. So the roll's fast, uncontrolled, okay? Roll's a simple manoeuvre, right? You go over, you roll over like that, you input a little bit left rudder, as you go over, a bit down elevator, as you come back round, a little bit of right rudder, up elevator. You keep the nose of the plane slightly up, and you control the roll, okay? There's no control in that roll. Yeah, so there's a prime example of, right, if you learn on a plane with a gyro that's flying you then can't fly after. That's a prime example of that. Now if you're in the UK, let's say you want to go and do your B test, right, on the B test you have to fly 2 consecutive rolls downwind in one direction, controlled, 2 consecutive controlled rolls, right, and in the and you have to fly 2 consecutive controlled rolls in the opposite direction of wind as well, right? He wouldn't be able to do that, not after seeing that roll. That was terrible. So that's bump, right? I'm getting rid of that. Pressing the T180, same model that I learned to fly on, and I've still got mine. It's actually been in one of my videos, and in that video I actually said it was the best trainer they ever made. It requires flying, all inputs, all controls. Mine's got an OS46LA and it goes really well on that. This guy's he's electrified it. This just goes to show that it doesn't matter how you power it, okay? Even as an electric, that still needs to fly the same. It still requires the same inputs and control to learn to fly. It's a really, really good model. It's something it's a model that I wish Slack would bring back. I really do. So you see, that's the other thing. When we're all buying these foam electric models, right? They're all being made from the information that I get, or the information sort of finding out. They're all being made in China, shipped over here, people buy them, right? And then you get models and you get companies in the UK like Slack who that they, if I'm right in saying this, they buy in balsa trees and they cut the balsa and stuff like that, and they make kits and they ship balsa kits out to model shops and stuff like that. But if we're not buying these types of models, right, how long can them businesses last? We sort of, as a, it's like we everything, we're just buying ready to go stuff from China, but not supporting our own UK companies. It's quite sad, really. But I do wish that Slack would bring this model back. I really do. They've said they won't. They said they never will. They do the T240, which is bigger, but the T180 was easier to get in the car. It's easy to get in out of most flying sites. With the T240 is a bit bigger, some sites might not really be suitable. So come on, I'll just pause there for a second. So yeah, so we'll get into the comments, right. The T180 is, or should I say, was the best trainer plane ever. I had 6 of them, awesome flights, and no, that's it. The guy, yeah, brought one from Old Warden Model Weekend, came with 40 nitro, it means glow, and a NAF radio, put in a new Futabane, I'm guessing that means Futama, and a new Gen 47, that's a glow engine. Like a bad out of hell, it's not meant to be fast. It's my favourite model. I can see why. There it goes on about the power he's got in there. Big is awesome. Right, so that brings another thing, right. Bigger flies better. It's a known fact, bigger flies better, right? So how can a tiny little, right, model, what was the Aero Scout 1 point, what was it, 800mm or something, what was it, 800mm? How can that be better than that if bigger flies better? This guy said that's awesome. I have a 180 running with a Thunder Tiger 42 and I've always wanted to convert to electric. That's Spanish or something. Somebody's put, can you email the plans, etc. documents for T180? Just having a very hard time for finding them. So with the T180, with the plan, you got plans for the wings and the tail section. You didn't get a plan for the fuselage. Because everything's slotted together, you just had an instruction book with diagrams on how to do it. So you'd be hard to build a T180 off a plan unless you were suppose if you could strip a fuselage and copy the parts, you could do it, but it'd be like, you know, you couldn't really do it off a plan, really. No, this isn't Dad's RC hangar. This is my channel, but this is Chris at Dad's RC hangar flying. I mentioned this model before. It's Calamato. It's one of those models that came around that time of those 40 size trainers. This is an electric version. Now, there's going to be no gyros on it. He's doing his A-cert training right, so there's going to be no gyros on this. But just look how stable that plane's flying. You know, those turns are spot on. Again, it comes down to just good instruction. Now, I know that Chris went to Paul Heckles. You'd do be hard to find an instructor as good as him, to be honest with you. He's a good chap, Paul. I mean, that could be another option, you know, rather than spending your money on a phone trainer and paying for gyros and stuff. Why not pay a professional training school like Paul Eccles? I would imagine it's not a massive amount of money, not considering what you're learning to do. People pay a lot more for golf lessons and things like that. But that is flying absolutely beautifully. It's stable, and I can actually hear some wind through the microphone and his camera, so I'm guessing it weren't that still that day. Absolutely brilliant. I love these 40s. I ought to get one myself actually, because I enjoy flying them. That's how good they are. I enjoy flying them. Yeah, can you hear that wind? I think that's George from Formax teaching him, I think, if I remember right. But that's how it should be done. This is how the hobby should be done in the UK. This is how you should learn to fly. First ever dead stick. So in the A test you have to do a dead stick landing. So he's obviously practicing for that. I'm just going to have a look. Wrong with that? Absolutely spot on. Yeah, so you have to do your calls as well. You just heard there, he said take it off. I'm just going to have a look on the internet at used RC trainers to see what he's about, what you can actually pick up. Used RC trainer plane. Simple search. Let's have a look what we just popped up. It's not used, but it's just popped up. There's a, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier on, but in the RCM&E magazine at the back, there's a VQ Models Wasp, which is a 46 size trainer. Look at that. Lovely.
Well done that man.
That was a nice landing, that.
I did last year then. And I've done 2 days.
Yeah, there's a VQ Models Wasp trainer
very nice.
advertising at the back of the magazine.
Yeah, okay.
46 size, but it can be, again, it can be electric. On eBay here, it's £184. Obviously, you don't have to buy servos and a motor or an engine or everything else and power and stuff.
Still spins around, but is that just because it's no show?
And there you go. That was a bit of a quick one, Mrs.
Sorry, Chris, I'm going to turn you off there, mate. I'm going to put this idiot on in the background instead. So there's a Max Thrust Riot plug and play. So I'm guessing that's the sort of, you get your battery and stuff and you're ready to go. That's not a bad model. I mean, it's a phone model, but it's not a bad model. The Riot, you know, I'd recommend the Riot, but you can also get the Pro Build version, which is the wooden one, which would. That's the way I go. So I just find that wooden models just fly better. They just get around the sky better. They just require a little bit more control to fly, a little bit more input to fly. They just make you a better pilot in the long run. That's my thoughts on it. So yeah, because the phone Riot is good, I would imagine that the Balsa Riot is extremely good. But nothing's coming up as used, which is a shame. I was hoping to find. No, nothing on there. Let's try another place. Another one. No. Okay, so I found one. So there's a Bobcat, which again, he's patches on the wings, but that's no problem. You can tidy that up. That again is the same as that era 40 size trainer. So it's a Bobcat with an SC40 engine, 4-channel RC nitro plane. Glow. It's not nitro, it's glow. Okay. It's on my nerves. Nitro is short for nitromethane. Nitromethane is an additive to glow fuel. The fuel is methanol. The chemical reaction comes from the platinum in the glow plug and the methanol. Nitromethane is just an additive to give a bit more pop. I don't know why people call it nitro. .5 metre wingspan. Includes original analog radio gears. Nothing wrong with that. Upgraded to Fly Sky FST4B, which is installed and working. Okay, so there you go. There's a Balsa trainer, right, with an engine, all the radio gear, all the stuff you need, in London, £50. Okay, you could take that, you could buy that, take that home, check over the airframe, tidy it up, very little money, and you'd be flying. That's a bit, oh my God, what I found there. Middle phase glide, that's right, I'm after a new glide for the mornings, you see. No, only the one, but I'm sure if you was to search the internet for long enough, you'd find like used, trainers for sale. So yeah, the purpose of this video, One, I want to find, you know, out of interest, I want to find out whether, you know, UK model clubs have instructors, if anybody's struggling with instructors, if that's an issue. Two, this information that you're finding on YouTube is wrong. It's wrong for the UK, very wrong. It can't work like that. You know, you can't. If you want to fly in a model club in the UK and pass an A test, that's not the way to do it. The other one is, yeah, just, you know, just get your thoughts on it, really. What do other people think? Is this ruining the hobby as well? Is this kind of thing ruining the hobby? And I say that, let's give you an example. Let me give you an example. While we've got YouTube here, I'll give you an example, okay? So, bear with me, right? So if I go, let's have a look. What can I do? Let's just type into YouTube RC Play. Okay, let's see what comes up. Right, so just by typing in RC Play, this is what we get. Okay, tie. Can I knife edge loop? Probably. Wing damage repair, Mark Robinson. Right, okay. If you're driving down a country lane on a Sunday afternoon, right, this is what I think, right, and this goes back to, I come back into the hobby in 2021, and a lot's changed, okay? I come back, I go to a club, and it's all little foam models, right? That's what pretty much everyone's flying, okay? So when I was in a model flying, when I used to be in model flying clubs as a kid growing up and stuff, up until like 2012, before I sort of had a break, you'd get people out on a Sunday afternoon, on a Sunday drive out or whatever, they'd be going out for dinner or whatever they was doing. And they'd drive past your flying field. And you'd get people would stop, pull up, watch, come and stand on the gate, watch, we'd call them in, you know. And you'd get people join your club and learn to fly that way. Not, you know, not many, but some, you know. But to get them people to stop, right, to drive down a country lane and stop, okay, it's got to be something that catches your eye. It's got to be something interesting, right? Now, if I'm driving down the road, I don't know anything about model airplanes. Or, well, I know of model airplanes, but I don't know anything about model airplanes. I'm driving down the road, okay? And I'm driving down, and I see this flying around. I'm going to stop and watch, okay? There's no two ways about it. I'm going to stop and watch, and I'm going to find out about it. And most people would, right? Let's just get fast forward into any kind of flying. Listen to that. So yeah, if I'm driving down the road, right, Sunday afternoon, I'm driving down the road. I know I'm on airplanes, but I don't know much about them. I've been to the pub, I've had my dinner, I'm driving back, right, and I go around the model club and I hear that and I see that. Okay, I drive past the model club and I hear that and I see that. Right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to pull up and I'm going to stop and I'm going to watch. Right, yeah. That's a model airplane. Okay, that's a model airplane. That's got what I call the wow factor. Yeah. That's going to wear you, I don't care who you are, that will wear you, right? But what people are flying at model clubs, the one that, when I came back into the hobby, right, was this. I'm not going to go to a pro flying it. I'm going to go to what would be like a standard club member, okay? I'm guessing anyway. But yeah, when I came back into the hobby, what was being flown at the club a lot, everybody seems to have one of these, right? The voltage air.
Okay, we're at the field. We need a meeting.
Now, these things aren't particularly very big. And Chris, you know, my mate Deadly, Chris, he had one of these and I had to go over it once. And I found it ridiculously easy to fly. Didn't matter what I wanted it to do, I'd ask it to do it and it would do it. I found it was just ridiculous. There was no sort of, you know, fear factor with it. It was just like, yeah, you know, it was that easy. I had no respect for it in a way. But when you see those flying in the field, you can barely see them. So somebody driving down that country lane on a Sunday afternoon ain't going to be wowed by that. They're not going to be. They're not going to get wowed by that. That's not going to pull people over and introduce them into model aircraft. Whereas the previous one will. So, are we actually, by promoting all these sort of small foam trainers or beginner RC planes as they're called, are we sort of taking that wow factor away from the hobby? Do you know what I mean? Is that where it's going? You know, I know you can go to the model shows, you can go to the Western Park Model Air Show and the LMA shows and stuff like that, and you can see big models, big, like some of the jets, I mean, you know, and some of the 3D stuff, the extras and things like that. But you'll only go to that show if you know about it. You know, you're not going to be a general member of the public sort of going. You're not going to go unless you fly RC planes, really, are you? You know, the majority of people there fly RC planes. So yeah, you get that wow factor when you're at the shows, but we already know about it. From a club flying perspective, and from people driving down that country lane on a Sunday afternoon, driving past the club flying field, the wow factor's disappearing, it's slowly going. You know, and are we not doing the hobby any favours by doing that? He's promoting these sort of trainers that doing that to the hobby. I don't know. I know that when I came back into the hobby in 2021, there was a big change, and I guess it hit me more because I came back into it and saw this big change. Maybe, for people who sort of was in the hobby at the time of it changing, sort of went with it and didn't really get the impact of it. But for me, it changed massively and quite quickly as well. In 2012, right, I was told I got on a waiting list for that club, got into the club, everyone's flying big Balsa IC models, right? There was some electric, not much foam, there was, whether they be ARTFs, own built, whatever they was, big models, everybody flew properly. You're alright, you get your good pilots, and you get your pilots who aren't so good, right? Like, what I mean is you get them that greaser landings and you get them that struggle a little bit with it, but everybody flew in front of themselves, everybody flew on the right circuit in the right area, everybody avoided sort of what needed to be avoided, and everybody operated safely as well. Come back in 21 and it's completely different. The models have changed, people's views on flying have changed, people are flying differently, they're not, it's only the rare sort of the season modelers that sort of flying that way, the new people flying. It's no disrespect to anybody, but the new people that sort of fly are a bit all over the place. Again, maybe it's just me noticing it because I came back into it in 2020, in 21. Does that say anything about these trainers? Do you know what I mean? What does it say? So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know, what you think. I think the internet is full of wrong information, if I'm honest with you. And for people trying to get into the RC hobby, or want to get into the RC hobby and do it the right way, it's difficult. But it's difficult to find the right way because there's too much wrong information about. I've done my research. I've researched like models. I know the situation. I know that if you go on the internet and you buy an Aero Scout, it's going to cost you £356, but then you've got to go and buy something else to do your A test, and then you've got to learn again because you've got to turn off the gyros. So I understand that, but does somebody from outside of the hobby, somebody trying to get into it, do they understand that? And people will go and buy their plane before they find a club. That's quite common, so from point of view in the UK, we need to get the right message out, I think, personally, of the right way to go about learning to fly RC planes. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I've probably waffled on a little bit, but something I've been thinking, it's one of the things that just goes around your head. You think, well, why is the hobby changing so much? Why are people not interested in it? Why are people not coming into the hobby? Why is it very, and all the people that I know have come into the hobby are older guys that did it years ago when I was a kid. They might have built a Balsa free flight, or they might have got into a bit of radio control, maybe done a bit of control line. But anyone I know who's personally that I know that's come into it has come into it through knowing it from the past when I was a kid. So yeah. Personally, in the UK, I think we need the wave factor back. I think we need instructors to step up, and people in clubs to say, yeah, you know what, I'll do it, I'll instruct, stuff like that, and not rely on technology, gyros, safe modes, things like that. I think, we need to go back to the way. Not back, back to the way it used to be, because that's where your better pilots was sort of, where they learned, where they spawned, your good pilots. If you went to UK shows between 1998, I flew at a few shows around 98, 99. Old Warden, a few shows I flew at back then. but you'd be absolutely wowed by the likes of Ali Machinsky. If you say if you went to a UK show in 98, 99, it's to, you know, around that end, round there up to sort of 2010, 12. I don't know after that because I never went to a show, but the shows I've been to recently, he's not been there. But somebody like Ali Machinsky would, he's flying, man, unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? He didn't learn on a phone gyro thing, no chance. There weren't even around. You know, your best pilots cut the teeth the way I'm saying it, believe me. So yeah, food for thought, but let me know what you think. And if you're an instructor or was an instructor in a club, step up, man, because I think the UK needs it. Let me know what your club, what situations are in your club and stuff with instructors, and if it's just something I'm seeing, or if it's all over the UK, what's the score with it. So yeah, just out of interest. Yeah, cheers guys, see you later.